Hello everybody, welcome back to another cast of StarCraft Remastered. Today we have Larva versus Last. This was sent to me by one of my good buddies, Connor, on Discord, so looking forward to seeing this. He always sends me some pretty interesting games, and knowing Larva, this game is probably going to go off the rails pretty early on and get really crazy. He sent me one last week that was Larva versus Flash, where they both end up base trading, and Larva just barely wins by sniping Flash's last science vessel and then winning with lurkers. So it's just, these games can definitely get crazy. I'm looking forward to seeing what's gonna go on. So just talking a little bit, just kind of preface this match a little bit as far as the TVZ matchup and how it has evolved recently. We've been getting much more into 1-1-1 builds, especially for Flash himself. Flash has really been favoring going into the 1-1-1 build, going for vultures and, I almost said banshees, vultures and wraiths early on to really kind of throw the Zerg player off, force them to kind of move into a Hydralist and get a couple of Hydras to defend, and prevent the third base from going out for quite a long time with Spider Mine. So it's actually a really good opening. But Last, on the other hand, really hasn't quite embraced the 1-1-1 the same way that Flash has. I think partially that just has to do with differing styles. Flash has always been... I mean, Flash is good with everything, honestly. But Last has always been much more of a macro-type player. Really prefers going into, you know, getting that big macro machine going, being able to get into the late game, etc., etc. So we're probably just going to see the normal 1-Rax expand coming out from Last. Meanwhile, it's going to be an early gas from Larva. So Larva definitely looking to go a little bit more aggressive versus his opponent. I think this is kind of an interesting way to open. We don't normally see a gas opening like this before the hatch even goes down. So we're definitely going to be seeing some pretty interesting stuff coming out from Larva. This is kind of almost the precursor to a potential Hydra or Lurker bust. It really just depends on what he wants to do with this, but he's actually going to go for a very fast lair. Wow, okay, so this is definitely going to be a Lurker bust. This is the plan, to go ahead and get some really, really fast Lurkers up, and then he's just going to combo with some Lings and try to break the front and win the game outright. And if Last doesn't actually catch this fast enough, he can just outright die. It's really difficult to actually stop this, but Last is actually playing incredibly cautious. He's scouted cross map first, and since he doesn't see anything, he's actually just going to build this CC on the high ground. So this is actually super weird. I wonder if this was part of a series and like he kind of just knew what Larva was going to do. This is ultra odd to actually see this. But we do have the worker block on the ramp. We're going to be able to block this SCV from getting in. He's going to kill it off. Oh my gosh. Okay, Last has no idea what's going on right now. He went ahead and put up a second barracks, it looks like, so he is going to have lots of Marines coming out pretty soon, but he's got to be really careful right now, and this attack is actually going to come at about the same time that he would normally want to move out. Meanwhile, Larva also seeing that there's no CC, so kind of both of them mind-gaming each other. Neither has proper information. Nobody knows what the other player is going. Larva really isn't even sure that Last is in the bottom right-hand corner, so he's scouting down there with his Ling. He's going to find out there's no one there, so there's no expansion for Last. That's a little bit nerve-wracking as a Zerg player, but now he sees the CC, he's going to feel a little bit more confident. Here comes what I assume, is this actually just really fast mutas? What is this build from Larva? Oh my gosh, this is so weird. It's like a 2-hatch muta build, but it's very different. Usually you always go for that hatch first, so this is very unusual. A couple units moving out for Last right now, but there is the spine crawl at the front. As long as he has a couple of Lings there, he should be able to soak up the damage and kill that off pretty easily. Gonna be able to get into the base, at least see the 2 racks, so he knows that Last open for the 2 racks, knows there's a little bit of pressure early on, but he's going to be okay against that for now. Ironically, this is probably one of the better openings versus 2-hatch muta. 2-hatch muta is very good versus what would be considered the standard back in the day, which was 3 racks into, you just go 3 racks, and then you just immediately go into factory and start getting science vessels to deal with it. And basically the mutas have free reign up until then. So this is kind of a throwback to the old days. However, the 2 racks already has medics and a lot of these marines out going to be able to defend really easily. Lots of missile turrets going down as well. And wow, Last actually scouts out this 3rd base immediately, so that's super annoying. There aren't really a lot of mulas right now. They don't have the power to one-shot a marine. Need at least... I guess you can technically get away with 6. 6 is doable. Yeah, here starts the Mutalist micro. Gotta be careful, make sure he doesn't take too much damage. You're gonna see he's gonna start cycling out a lot of Mutalists as they start to get injured. He'll try to micro around here, kill off 1 or 2 Marines, and then just kind of move around. If one of them gets down low into the blue, and he'll just kind of separate them off, hang out for a little while. I saw a game of Luxury back in, I think it was like one of the Ever OSLs, where Luxury literally just did this the entire game, where he just flew around with a couple mutas, kept cycling out, and won the game just purely off of Mutalist micro. Ended up, because he kept building Mutalist and cycling out the ones that were damaged, he ended up with something crazy like 2 or 3 subgroups of mutas and just walked over the bio like it was no problem. So probably not what we'll be seeing this game, but this is so far a pretty successful opening by Larva. He's keeping Last pinned back while he gets his 3rd base up, and this is kind of a very interesting and kind of unique turn on the way that we normally see this matchup go, because normally it's always about the Terran player being out on the map, pressuring the Zerg, making it impossible to get that 3rd base up, but here it is, the 3rd base is already up, and Larva is in a pretty fantastic position to continue keeping the Terran player pinned back. So far this is really good, but Last has chosen this time as his moment to move out. He's going up to 5 racks, I believe. So there's going to be a lot of pressure out on this map. And this number of mutas really isn't a lot. Larva is really relying on his skill with this Mutalist micro in order to actually get anything done, but losing a Mutalist there, not good at all. Behind this, he's trying to use what limited resources he can to build up his economy and keep that Mutalist count healthy as well, but it's difficult, right? You only have 3 hatches in total as opposed to the 4 that you would normally have here, so definitely understandable that Larva's having a hard time. However, he does have the Mutalist. He can abuse this double bridge for a little while, maybe kill off at least part of this group before it actually gets up to the high ground. But Last, so good, just immediately running across that bridge, being able to get in there immediately, but not going to be enough. Great micro coming out from Larva. He's going to be able to kill off this entire force. He's going to be able to kill off all the medics too. Kills off almost all the medics. 1 medic does survive, but that is going to be the end of this push for Last. Last definitely putting up a good effort to get some damage out on the map, but Larva having exactly what he needed to deal with it. A little bit of miss micro there, losing a couple of mutas, but he's got everything he needs right now. He's been working on the drone count. He's going to start having those lurkers up pretty soon. Once he gets the lurkers, then he can breathe a sigh of relief. However, it's still a very difficult spot right now. It's really going to rely on him being very good with this muta micro, and so far he's doing amazingly well. I'm so shocked. This is a blaster in the past, and it's working so well against Last right now. But Last is still pumping out all the Marines. He went for a very fast starport follow-up. Looks like he's going to make a dropship before his science vessel, so that's going to allow him to go ahead and start putting on the pressure, start looking for a potential drop, and just kind of throwing apart the defense of Larva. Because right now, Larva's entire defense is based off of these Mutalists. He doesn't have really many lurkers out on the map. He doesn't have any lings, so this is purely dependent on him just playing smartly, using hold position lurkers and good use of that Nidus Canal. The Mutalists are in a very nice spot, just kind of running around, trying to pick off whatever they can. The Defiler Den is up. Oh, double dropship incoming for the first bit. This is really, really smart. So they're going to be able to actually just pick up and go straight into the main. And Larva doesn't have anything to defend this. He has a couple of lurkers out over in front of his natural, but I don't think he was expecting a drop play to be coming in this early. I think he's going to be very surprised by this, but oh my gosh, no. What? 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 Is this real life? What the hell? Okay, so I guess Larva was expecting the drop. Dealt with it pretty easily. Larva's drop defense is like just insane. What the hell? Oh my god, this is crazy. Larva's defending this entire push off of just Mutalisk and a couple of Lurkers and a couple of Scourge, all gas units. He's made like a total of like maybe a maximum of 12 lings this game. I don't know if he's even made that many. There's so few lings in this game. It feels so weird. But this is great for Larva. He managed to shut down the drop. He killed off almost 2 subgroups of units. He's going to be able to actually take his third base right now. Here come the Science Vessels in to kill off these mutas. They're only going to kill off 2 of them, though, so not a huge deal. Oh, looks like Last might actually go for this. Wow, okay. No, he decided against it. That would have been a mistake, I think. Trying to engage versus 4 Lurkers is a little bit dangerous with only 1 subgroup of Marines. So, 4th base going down now for Larva, and Last just got down his 3rd base, so he's in a pretty good spot. And I really like this move by Larva, just going ahead and getting himself a little bit more room out beyond the double bridge. Usually you just kind of sit in your natural with the Lurkers, but being able to push out a little bit further this way just kind of allows him to gain a little bit more leverage over his 4th base over there and just kind of secure it more cleanly, more evenly. He has a lot of lurkers. Holy crap, this is insane. You'll see he's always having this 1 Defiler just hang out by the Nidus Canal. That's just so that he can flip it in and out depending on where the Science Vessels go. If Science Vessel comes over here to his natural, he can always move it over to his 3rd base, or he can move it over to his 3rd base, or if the Science Vessels pop over by that natural, he can quickly put it into the Nidus Canal and transfer it over to his natural. So it's a very smart play so far. Looks like we have some drops coming in pretty soon, but these Scourge are on the move. They're looking for this drop wherever it might be, and here comes a full switch mech for Last. Last is doing a fantastic job of kind of salvaging this game and doing pretty well. Here comes a big drop into the main. There's not really enough to stop this right now. He might be able to pick off 1 of these drop ships, but lost a lot in return, and this is where the game starts to go bonkers. There's not many upgrades for Larva as of right now. He's transferred a couple of his drones, but he really has to get something done right here, and with just pure lings, even with a couple swarms, it's difficult. It's definitely difficult for him to just deal with this. However, Last not really paying attention. Actually going to end up losing a little bit right there, but he's got another job incoming. This time Larva was too busy cleaning up the other job, didn't actually have the reflexes to shoot down that other drop. And this 1 dropship actually might be able to get away. It's been plagued, so it has very, very low health. A single hit from anything could just kill it right now. This 1 Scourge on the chase is going to get it. So very nicely done by Larva. But Last has already gone into the mech mode. He's only got 4 expansions, though. That's something to definitely keep in mind. Normally, at this point in the game, as a Terran player, you want to be mining up the map. You want to be getting full map control with 2 or 3 subgroups of Marines, Marine Medic, while you're just mass expanding. So normally, at this point, Terran has all the expansions, or they're building all the expansions on their side of the map. But because this was kind of moved into so prematurely, and because he sacrificed a lot of that bio just to do a bunch of damage, he really doesn't have a lot to defend his bases. This is a very thin defense, and on the other hand, Larva is in actually a pretty fantastic spot. He's had this 4th base up for quite a while now. He can go ahead and start working on getting any other bases he wants. All he has to do is just not panic and just slowly push out across the map. He doesn't really need to do much right now. Usually, the way that we see Sulky deal with this sort of play is he'll just go for drops very early on before his Ultralisk, and he'll just get the drops to kind of bypass the mines, do a couple of tactical drops on the fringe bases and the fourth base to kind of deal with it. This is a little bit of a problem for Larva, but Larva should be able to clean this up pretty nicely. Lots of spider mines going down though, so it's difficult to clean this up. Eventually, I think Larva should be able to clean this up, but this was definitely a mistake not to put down a sunken or two to deal with all of those vultures. Vulture's going to be able to clean up a lot of lings over there, and a lot of radiates going down on top of all of these units as well, so this could definitely be a potential break here for last, or it looks like it might just be a war of attrition, just trying to kill off as many units as possible, as cost effectively as possible, so that he can go ahead and get these other bases up. But Overlord speed is done now for Larva. Larva might be able to get that Overlord drops coming in pretty soon. Dropping a couple lurkers with a defiler and a few lings is a not, it's a sure way to actually just completely shut down a mineral line. There's nothing that you can really do about that. But so I'm just going to try to run by all the way into this third and fourth base of last. Going to be able to force the lift off actually immediately. A lot of SCV is going to be going down. This is a very interesting play coming out from Larva, but not really enough to do much. He's slowly pushing out across the map with these lurkers. One little bit at a time. He's going to be able to get a position underneath the swarm, and that's going to definitely be good for him in just pushing back last and preventing last from getting comfortable down here. Managed to drop a couple more swarms, going to be able to push this back, but the Irradiate's finally catching up with all of those lurkers, going to be able to eliminate them, break them up. Oh gosh, missed a juicy shot on that lurker on all those SCVs, but I guess it's just not meant to be. Meanwhile, tons of lings flooding in here. He's going to try to go for the throat, but this might be a mistake without a defiler. This is a really good tactic for just forcing last to put a lot of units over here, but he really needs to switch up his targets, make sure that he's getting these Overlord drops in. A couple lings going in for a drop. Looks like it might just be going straight into the main. Lings not so good against tanks. Well, micro tanks are actually pretty good versus lings at this stage in the game, just because the upgrade advantage is so strong for the mech army. A couple of units loaded up into these Overlords now. Looks like they might finally be going into the main base, but Last is already getting prepared with lots of missile turrets. It looks like he saw this coming, and he's prepared to deal with it. The gas from Larva also building up quite a bit. Larva is spending... He's throwing a lot of units out across the map, maybe a little bit too cavalierly, but he is getting a couple of SCV kills here and there, and it is going to start slowly adding up. However, it's the gas count that he really needs to worry about. You need to kill off the bases, not the workers at this point in the game. Lurker drop coming in right now. Going to be able to burrow in that mineral line, shut it down for now. Couple of science vessels are already there, though, so they're going to be able to deal with that pretty easily. Another drop coming down in this bottom left-hand base. Maybe he's going to be able to clean it up. Here come the Ultralisk, though, so lots of units just flitting around all over the map for Larva right now. It's so hard to keep up with this action right now. But with constant units moving down the map, both on the left and the right side, eventually he might be able to slowly break this, but it's hard to tell. A drop up in the top left-hand base. Looks like it killed off a lot of drones, but can Last actually survive this onslaught into his main? Lots of units coming up right now. Gonna drill the SCVs on the ramp. Is it gonna be enough? I'm not sure. He did manage to clean up both of his bases in the bottom left-hand side, so it looks like he's going to be able to continue mining, but all of his production's up here in the bottom right-hand corner. It looks like he is going to be able to clean up all of those Ultralisks, but the aggression is just non-stop. It is relentless coming out from Larva right now. Going to be able to drop straight into the main as well. He actually went double Ultra Cavern so he could get the double upgrades up as fast as possible. Didn't actually wait for them before going in, so it's a little bit of, I think, a mistake. However, it is constantly putting on the aggression, and Last, he hasn't been able to deal with this very well. More units coming in, going to be able to snipe off a couple of tanks very cost effectively, and meanwhile Larva's economy is blowing up. He's got units all across the map. He's got all of the bases on his side of the map. And Last is just really struggling to mine from his bases. You can see it in the resource tab up in the top right-hand corner. Now, Last really struggling for those minerals. He's slowly running out. Even though he's got a very nice supply, he's been spending a lot on rebuilding these SCVs. If Larva can break him in the next couple of minutes, maybe it matters, but I'm a little bit worried about the supply differential. You usually see this with Zerg players trying to break through very early on. They never actually reach above 150 supply, and then it kind of plummets once the Terran player actually holds. And right now, Last is doing a fantastic job of holding, so if Last actually stabilizes, which it looks like he may have, this might just be the death of Larva. But Larva is still continuing to make units. He looks like he's going to be going for another drop. Now the game switches to who gets the 3 and 9 o'clock bases. Those are the key points of this game right now. Whoever can get the most map control and secure those bases is going to win. But it's looking a little bit bleak for Larva unless he can break a hole, punch through the defenses of Last right now. Last has been so good about laying down those mines and putting tanks in key positions, but it's really all going to come down to this. Good mine drag, going to be able to kill off a lot of those mines with a single ultra. And just kind of trying to play very tactically right now. Now it looks like he's actually managed to slowly build up stuff. He's managed to kill off a lot of units over here in the 6 o'clock base. So 6 o'clock base for Last is non-functional. That is definitely an advantage for Larva. But Larva has to make a break for it right now. He has to do something, or else this mech army is just going to get out of control. Units flooding down the map in all directions right now. A couple of Scourge chasing down those science vessels. Not going to be able to kill off any of them. But it's hard to tell what the direction is for Larva right now. He's sending lots of units that are just kind of getting crushed by spider mines and tanks before they actually do anything. I keep expecting something big to happen, and maybe this is it. Looks like a drop, or at least a fake drop, going over there into that bottom left-hand corner. Meanwhile, units running in here, gonna try to get on top of these tanks, kill them off. But good D-Matrix is gonna keep a lot of those alive. Reinforcing Lings, can they clean up? I'm not sure. It's so hard to tell. It looks like Last may be able to hold for now, but reinforcements are coming out across the map from Larva. Larva managed to clear up a lot of the spider mines out on the center of the map, so he's going to be able to continue flooding units out across the map. He's got that center map control. He's taking the 3 and the 9 o'clock bases at the same time, so he's feeling very comfortable at this point in time. He's just going to continue pouring on the aggression. Last, not been able to really stabilize in the way that he would like, where he has an impenetrable defense. Somehow, Larva has just been able to keep the aggression on, be able to keep Last pinned back in his base, and from ever actually really reaching the critical mass that he would like. More units are running into the natural right now, going to be able to clear off a lot of those mines, drag a couple of them as well. I love all these kind of quasi-fake drops that Larva keeps doing, where he just kind of sends units down, or he sends overlords down into a base, but they don't actually do anything. And it's just to try to pull some units there. At some point, these are going to be real drops, and I think that's going to catch Last a little bit by surprise when it actually happens. Lots of units coming down, a couple of units in drops as well. Going to maybe try to drop right on top of this tank line and kill it off, but there are a ton of science vessels here. Going to try an eraser trick on top of all these overlords. Going to be able to kill off quite a few before they really even unload. But does it even matter? Lots of units pouring in. It doesn't look like Larva is going to be able to clear this tank line. That was an impressive tank line. However, he does have the 3 and 9 o'clock bases right now. If he can hold for long enough, if he can continue to push Last back, he can ride out that advantage on his economy for basically indefinitely. Larva doing a fantastic job of cleaning up all these units out in the center of the map that tried to move out early. However, he's going to be losing all the drones in that 3 o'clock base, and that's going to be a little bit difficult for him to deal with right now. It's a little bit painful. At this point in time, you really want to have those units out there, but you can't quite get it. So he's going to be able to put down a couple Sunkens, hopefully at this 9 o'clock base, and clean it up. he really needs to go ahead and put down lots of sunkens wherever he can in these fringe bases, because that's really the only thing stopping a couple of vultures from just coming in and completely decimating the middle line instantly. Lots of units coming out across the map, lots of Scourge. Gonna try to target this third base again from Last. Does Last actually have the defenses? Looks like he's focused on defending over there at the bottom left-hand base. He's not ready to defend this, and that's gonna be the instant lift up. Lots of SCV is gonna be going down for free. Also here in this middle only third base as well. Couple of vultures still being very annoying, gonna be able to harass over there. And Larva, although he has secured these bases, he never really has gotten a chance to put up those sunken colonies and really secure them versus the vulture harass. Gonna try to go again for the big move out across the map, this lower left-hand base, but there's already a line of tanks that are going to be able to clean these up very efficiently, trying to drag a couple of mines into those tanks, but it doesn't look like it's going to work. And here come the science vessels here to come clean this up. There are a lot of these Scourge, though, going to be able to maybe clean up a couple of these science vessels. 2 of them go down, 3 of them, and that is actually looking very nice for Larva right now. He's going to be able to save that 9 o'clock base for now. And the gas is slowly running out for Last. That is really the most important thing that we want to look at when we look at mech. Larva's staying above that 160 supply mark, so he's got a very strong army, continuing to push out across the map. Gonna try to break into this third base yet again. It looks like he's found the weakness in Last armor, just constantly finding this tunnel to move in. He's going to be able to surround this tank line from all sides and completely obliterate it. There goes a ton of tanks for Last. Last can't be spending his few precious resources, his precious gas right now on just rebuilding tanks. Lots of SCVs going to be going down as well. And I think this is the part where the tides are starting to turn for Larva. Larva's pushing in here with everything into this natural. Gonna try to continually push in. He's cleared all of the mines at this point, but he needs to get on top of these tanks, kill them off. He's lost a lot in this engagement, but the units just keep flooding in. They just keep coming, and there's nothing that Last has at this point in time. Here, finally, the sunken colony is going up at that 3 o'clock base as he pushes down this lane. Going to be able to slowly just kind of whittle his opponent away. And you can see the supply is slowly dropping for Larva. Larva, whoa, actually, he might be a little bit too aggressive here. He's losing a lot of units on this ramp versus these SCVs, but it looks like maybe he finally could break up the ramp. Not quite, but he does have a drop on top of these tanks. Gonna force the unsiege, force them to walk away. He secured this 3 o'clock base for now, which is good for him, but he may have thrown a little bit too much away there, trying to go for the throw. Very good defense by Last, keeping his bases alive. However, it's still a very difficult position for Last. He's got a very strong army still, and he still has those bases up and running. If anyone could come back from this game, it's Last. Not only just being a fantastic player, but having a 3-3 late game mech army is so strong. But these Ling drops just constantly whittling away the tank count. And that's really all that matters. Killing off these tanks with something as cost efficient as Lings is hugely in favor of Larva, especially while he has this economy advantage with this extra base. Gonna actually change his attention, change his focus down into this bottom left-hand base now. Now that a lot of Last's attention has been brought over to the other side of the map, now he's just going to start pushing down the other lane, try to start breaking this, now that a lot of the reinforcements are back at home trying to defend that natural. This is a very targeted tug and pull from Larva, where he really wants to make sure that he's pushing Last in one direction over the other, either on the left or the right side of the map. We have another big drop coming in. Looks like he might try to just break this tank line over here. Nope, looks like it's actually just going to be back down to the right side of the map. So again, he pulls a lot of tanks over there to the left side of the map and makes sure that they are in position to deal with a big attack, and then he actually just sends a big attack over here to the right side. Going to be able to kill off a lot of these tanks very cost effectively with these Lings. It looks like the Lings actually might just be going, these Overlords might just be going straight into the main. Going to be able to start dropping on the production facilities, and that is like the beginning of the end for a Terran player. Losing your production facilities is the worst thing that can happen to you. Going to be able to kill off a lot of these machine shops, so that means no more tanks coming out anytime soon. Lots of units flooding in here from Larva, but a lot of them just dying instantly. Going to slowly, finally be able to get on top of these tanks. He's going to be able to clean it up. Oh my gosh. I think Larva may have finally done it. I keep saying that, but this looks like it might just be the very beginning of the end. Got into the main, is going to be killing off all the production. There isn't a lot of production for last on the other side of the map. And at this point in time, this is the breath of relief as a Zerg player, where you finally get on top of the production facilities. You finally start getting in some serious damage. All the tanks are just melting right now for last, but oh my god, did he hold again? Is this real life? Did he hold again? He's taken so much damage. How is he still alive? What? Oh my god. The supplies are still very even, but again, remember, if the supplies are even, that means Zerg is ahead. Always. Whenever Zerg can set it even supplies with the Terran, that is a fantastic spot for the Zerg player. Going to be dropping straight on top of these units. A couple Spider Mines might be able to deal with it for now, but the rest of these overlords are just going to go straight into the main. And it looks like Larva's actually just going to be building up a hatchery farm in the middle of the map. Apparently feels confident enough that he can go ahead and start building that hatchery farm, so he doesn't have to reroute all these units from his bases. He'll have faster reinforcements, and he'll be able to just continually send units. This is a little bit interesting to see because we don't typically see that, but when you get into the late sort of situations in the game, this is actually a very smart idea. This is so much pressure, and there's the GG.